Welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading, guys. Today is May the 15th, 2022. Today I'm going to be looking at 4 stocks that are ready to bounce higher this week. Names like Coinbase, Netflix, Amazon, and Shopify, all at critical points that I see that are significant going into next week. But before we get started, we do have the S&P 500 chart open here, and I am going to be discussing some targets moving forward, some targets to the downside and to the upside, and where I see the market going as a whole. But before we get started, guys, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends. And if you are interested in trading with us on our Discord channel, Wealthy Mentor Trading, we do have a $99 2-month promo in the link in the description. Now, this entails day trading, swing trading, options callouts, market analysis, and the whole 9 yards. So if you are interested in understanding how to trade and where to enter and where to exit, and overall getting a base for what the market entails, click that link in the description and that should take you to our checkout page. It's a wonderful group to be a part of. That being said, as I did mention, the S&P 500 chart is open here on the weekly time frame, and unfortunately it was one of those bearish weeks that I could pretty much see it coming, right? So I was looking at these 2 candlesticks right here back on May 2021, and unfortunately, last time these 2 candlesticks hit this target of 40.56, we bounced up and moved higher. However, this time around, the market is in a different atmosphere. It is bearish and pretty much seeing a retracement of all the names that popped up during the whole COVID pandemic. Now we are retracing back to the means, right? So on the S&P 500, I did have targets here of 39.85, which we did hit, and my last target of 38.85, which was a long shot. Unfortunately, that even got hit, right? So it was a pretty bearish week. To the upside, there is some momentum here that we did close, at the high of this candle right here. It is still bearish and it's still under that 40.56 area, which I wanted to see close above it. For me, that would give me that momentum that we are holding that area like we did back in 2021, and we were going to move higher. Unfortunately, we did not get that, and we did close Friday session just above that psychological support, $4,023. So what am I looking going into next week? So this line right here, 39.85, is significant for me. We did close above it, and it is prior resistance here back on March 2021, which now turns to support on the way down. So again, if we do see some weakness, I do expect 39.85 to hold. Unfortunately, if that does not hold, we're pretty much going to be testing these lows here back down that 38.85, which does coincide with this capitulation area back on February 2021. So another area for me is that 3800 area, which is key support here. Again, back on March 2021. So it's been a long time since we hit these levels. So definitely look underneath that 39.85 if you are buying puts for potential targets of 38.85 and 3800 even. So those are my targets to the downside. And by the looks of the trend right here on the weekly chart, it does seem that we're heading down there right now. To the upside, what am I looking at for a market reversal? So first things first, we got to close the weekly candle above 40.56. To me, that would show that the bulls are stepping in around this area that we had last time and protecting this zone. Another area for me that is important is that 41.15 area, right? It is the next significant line of resistance. So closing above 40.56 and 41.15 would be a wonderful opportunity for basically the market to regroup and regenerate and potentially push us higher. Unfortunately, for a big trend change, I am looking at that $4,300 line, and that is way too far for now. But first things first, closing above 40.56 would be a welcome sign in the markets. Overall, my thoughts and views, we're bearish and we are potentially heading lower as soon as we break that 39.85 area. All right. So as I mentioned, I do have 4 stocks that are important to me. The first one being Shopify. So Shopify has seen, significant sell-off since its highs, and the ticker here is SHOP. And here we are on the weekly time frame. So Shopify stuck out to me just for the reason that we have retraced pretty much all the way to that $300 support area, which we did hit last time here back on March the 16th, 2020. So basically, we retraced the whole COVID push up all the way down to the means at that $300 area. And we did close above it, right? So we did get a nice bounce by the bulls, closing above $400 at 402 actually. So what am I looking at going into next week? I am looking for a continued move higher to potentially test this 470 area. So that would be my first take profit target to the upside. And my next area is that 506 area, which was previous resistance right here back on February 2020. So those two targets to the upside, I'm looking at as long as we could stay above $400. So market could open up bearish and we could see it below $400 already. And if that's the case, I could potentially see us dropping back down, retesting this $300 area. And if that is broken, I am looking for put opportunities down to 242, 262, which does coincide with this area left back on May 2019. So it's been a long time, guys. So, I mean, to me, $300 is a key area for me because as you guys can see here, this is on the weekly candle, weekly time frame. And back on 2019, we held this line from September all the way to November before popping off and pushing us all the way to $600. Again, this happened during COVID, and then we got that push down at $300, and that's exactly where we are right now. The weekly RSI is also bottomed out and it's starting to peak up. So to me, it could be a great buying opportunity if we continue to break above $400, hitting 470 target number one and 506. All right. So that's one name that stuck out to me. So definitely keep an eye on Shopify. It has been significantly oversold and is due for a bounce. The next name that is also oversold and due for a bounce, and that's Amazon. AMZN is the second name that I'm watching. Again, much like Shopify, we have retraced all the way down to that 2045 area, which was key support and a breakout area back on March 2020. Again, during that whole COVID boom, we bottomed out at 1627, and then we got some huge volume right here, breaking above 2045. So again, what did we get last week? 2045 before the bulls stepped in, closing Friday session above 2261. What am I looking at going into next week? Again, just like Shopify, I'm looking for a continued move higher for potentially test this 2450 area, which was the most recent breakdown candle, right? And an area of resistance back on April 2020. So we did see some consolidation here on the weekly time frame before breaking out. So again, what am I looking at? Continued move, testing that 2450 area. And if we do see a break above that, obviously we can see that 2623 to 2721 is an area of resistance, as we did have support on the way down. Now on the way up, if we do tend to push up there, it is resistance. So again, continued move, my first target would be 2450, and if we see continued market strength, look for that $2,600 to $2,700 area. Now, to the downside, let's say we do have a continued weakness in the S&P 500. I'm looking at that 2185 for shorting opportunities. If that breaks, I'm looking at target number one, 2045 would be, again, the test of last week. So that would be my first target. And if we do see continued weakness and a market sell-off where the S&P 500 drops to 3,800, you're definitely going to see Amazon weakness. And my next target is that 1885 area. Again, another key level of support was previous resistance right here back on December 2019. On the way down, technical analysis says that it is key support at 1885. So those are my two targets to the downside. As you guys know, I want to see continued strength for 2450 to the upside. All right, another name that is significant to me, Netflix. I'm pretty sure you all know what happened to Netflix. Bearish earnings, back-to-back quarters, and we pretty much seeing ourselves down at that 162 area where we did get a bounce. Now, this is the weekly time frame, but this name's beaten up so badly that I'm gonna have to switch to the monthly time frame to give you guys basically the big picture. As you guys can see here on the monthly time frame, big candles here pushing us all the way down to 162, right? 162 was an area of consolidation before we got a breakout here on January 2018. So we are hovering between that 205 to 162 area. And to me, that is a no trade zone. But if I'm looking for continued strength out of Netflix, we did close Friday's session 187, still in between that range. So what am I looking at going into next week is a break above 205. That would be my entry area. And that's what I recommend to our Wealthy Mentor Trading members on our Discord channel. They do get the lowdown on the entry. So I'm definitely looking at that 205 area for my entry point for potential push to 220 resistance, right? And obviously we do have that big line in the sand here at 250. I don't imagine things going all the way up to there unless we see some crazy market strength and potentially the S&P 500 going to 4,300. Now, first things first, let's not get ahead of ourselves. 250 is strong resistance, as you guys can see here on the monthly time frame. It held multiple times. So on the way up, if you guessed it, we're going to have some heavy resistance at 250. So I am looking for a break of 205 for potential test and take profit target at 220. Those are my upside targets. Now to the downside, obviously guys, 161, if we do see weakness, I am looking on a break above 162 for a potential push to that 144 area, which was the lows back on July 2017. So man, it's been a long time. It's the 5-year low. And to me, Netflix is a great buying opportunity, guys. If you can get it in between 162 to 205 in that range and you cost average, it'd be a great swing trading opportunity. So definitely keep your eyes on Netflix above 205 next week for a potential push and hit at 220. All right. Another one that is significant to me and the best one, I guess, and it is Coinbase. I am going to switch over here to the weekly, actually to the daily, right? So Coinbase, ticker COIN. And, Coinbase was one of those names that definitely saw a lot of weakness even before the earnings came out. We did have the cryptocurrency market in shambles, Bitcoin dropping below 30,000. That was a key support area that it broke underneath. We also saw multiple names like Ethereum all losing heavy double-digit gains. And, Coinbase, along with their bearish earnings, decided to drop down to $41, guys. So this name was $400+ when it came out on the IPO. And here we see a $41 stock, right? So the good news is that the bulls did protect that $41 area before closing Friday's session at 67. Now, I do have Wealthy Mentor Trading members instructed to look above $74. And I am telling you guys that above $74, we could definitely see a push all the way to 89. And my second take profit target of that $100 psychological support area, which is now resistance to the upside. To the downside, I'm definitely looking above below $58. So if we do not get a break above 74 and we are trending sideways, look for $58 as key support. And obviously, if that breaks, I am looking for that take profit target of $41, which was last week's lows. So there's a lot of potential in Coinbase right here, but much of it, hinges on if the cryptocurrency market sees a bounce, right? We definitely need Bitcoin above 30K. And if we do see a push on Bitcoin, definitely you're going to look at names like Coinbase, Mara, Riot, all closely correlated to Bitcoin. So definitely look above 74 bucks for take profit 89 and 100. On a bearish note, look for that break of 58 to retest last week's low was at $41. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Those were 4 names that were significant to me. Now, guys, before you enter on any bullish trades, I always recommend that you look at the market and the way things are right now, right? I always stress to our members that the trend is your friend. And to me, things are heading lower. But that's not to say that you cannot catch a bottom around this area. And these names that I discussed, Shopify, Amazon, Netflix, Coinbase, they're all oversold on weekly time frames and on the heavy time frames. So you're definitely going to catch a bounce, and that will lead to great percentage gains, right? And if not, if you see market weakness, it still leads us to have these great gains shorting the stock as well. So definitely be open-minded to both sides of the tape and understand and read the market conditions before you enter any trade. All right, guys, thank you so much. Please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys next week. See ya.